Well, of course, the vote on Scottish independence has been in the diary all year. But as we've gotten closer to the actual event today, September 18th, the polls have closed. Now, this is not at all unexpected. You've seen undecided voters start to make up their minds, but it's still going to be quite close. In fact, the difference between the no camp is ahead by about 4 percentage points, and the yes camp is very tight, and the margin for error is 3 points. So most political analysts would say that it's too close to call. You've only got about 4% undecided as well. But I think that regardless of the actual outcome of the Scottish referendum, the fact that it's taking place and that it is so close is indicative of one of the elements of vox populi risk that we talk about, this notion of public opinion being a risk factor on the business and investment environment, and that's fragmentation. We've looked at everything from mass protest to the rise of new and alternative political parties. I think the SNP's rise is very much part of this trend, and then the expression of anti-establishment sentiment through a referendum is something that we don't see as an isolated incident. So what happens in Scotland will be watched closely by everybody from the Welsh and the English to the Corsicans, Northern Italians, and of course the Spanish in Europe and many other countries as well.
So you think that's only the beginning, basically?
Well, you've seen at the European Union level talk of concerns about the emergence of microstates, right? And of course the last 20 years have been all about convergence to the macro of building a European Union that would cross over national borders. Not only do we see a return to national considerations, but even within nation states, more local concerns. Again, we see that as part of this tension between localization and globalization.
So do you think that if the no wins, that's because the Scots have a problem with globalization, or it's a true desire of recovering their identities?
I think that we see such expressions as a sort of a backlash against globalization. In other countries, you've seen the rise of anti-immigration parties, right? And this is happening despite a recovery in economic growth, which suggests that there is a sort of a public sentiment that wants to say to leaders that it wants to maintain elements of national identity or national control. This is not necessarily a sort of clearly articulated sentiment in every case. What I'm suggesting is that in every national context, voters are finding themselves attracted to different ways of expressing their discontent with mainstream politics and political parties. And most of these, of course, come from the post-war period. So you've got generational change at work as well.